Hello everyone, this is part 3 video on past year NEET questions from the topic P block elements. So here we look at the questions from the 13th and 14th group elements. So we have separate set of videos for the chapter where we will cover 15th to 18th groups. Now those who are looking at this part 3 video can probably also look at part 1 and part 2 so that you will have the continuity of questions. We will start with a question that has come in the year 2006. Which of the following is the most basic oxide? So if you look at the oxides given to us, right? So first is what? SeO2. So SeO2 is acidic in nature. So oxygen, so it comes in the oxygen family, right? Selenium. So oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. So it will be having acidic nature. Whereas aluminum oxide and antimony oxide, so Al2O3 and Sb2O3, they both will be amphoteric. And bismuth, which comes in the nitrogen family, so nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. Bismuth is the metal in this nitrogen family. So bismuth oxide will be basic in nature. So the one that will be most basic will be bismuth oxide, Ba2O3. Next we have a question that has come in the year 2006. The correct order regarding the electronegativity of the hybrid orbitals of carbon. So if you look at the hybrid orbitals, right? So sp, sp2, sp3. So the electronegativity will be determined by the percentage s character. So s orbital being close to the nucleus, when the s percentage is more, then that particular hybrid orbital will be more electronegative. If you look at the s percentage in sp, it will be 50%. Because sp hybrid orbitals are formed by the overlap between one s orbital and one p orbital, whereas sp2 means it will be formed by the overlap of one s orbital and two p orbitals. So here the percentage s characteristics will be nearly 33%. In sp3 they are formed by the overlap of one s orbital and three p orbitals. Here the percentage s characteristics will be 25%. So when the s characteristics are high, that means that particular hybrid orbital of carbon will be more electronegative. So the correct order will be what? sp will be more electronegative than sp2 than sp3. In fact, for this reason only, like some of the compounds where the carbon is having sp hybridization, like acetylene, the hydrogen attached to carbon will be able to even behave like acidic hydrogen. So where acetylene, when it is reacting with sodium, right, it will form a compound with sodium where hydrogen will be replaced by sodium, like the way it happens in the case of the acids. Okay, so the correct answer for this is sp will be having more electronegativity than sp2 than sp3. Next we have a question that has come in the year 2004. This is about the zeolites. Which one of the following statements about the zeolite is false? So if you look at zeolites, right, so what are zeolites? They will be the polymeric linkage which will have SiO4 and AlO4 units, tetrahedral units, linked together in a three-dimensional open structure. Okay, so where because of this open structure, right, they will be able to provide cavities, and that will result in the zeolites acting as an ion exchange resin. Okay, so if you look at the role of zeolites, right, they are used as cation exchange resin. That is correct, and we are looking for the false or the wrong statement about the zeolites. They have open structure which enables them to take up small molecules. That is correct, and that's what will be the enabler for the zeolites acting as an cation exchange resin. Option C is saying that zeolites are aluminosilicates having three-dimensional network. Yes, they are aluminosilicates having three-dimensional network. Option D is saying, so this is also correct. So B is also correct, C is also correct. Option D is saying that some of the SiO4 4- units are replaced by AlO4 5- or AlO6 9- ions in zeolites. This is incorrect, because what we see is both the SiO4 and AlO4 units, they will be linked together in a three-dimensional open structure. So the one that is incorrect is option D. Next we have a question that has come in the year 2003. Which one of the following compounds is not a protonic acid? So what do you mean by protonic acid? The one that can give H+. So if you look at option A, which is boric acid, so B H3BO3, we can also write it like this. So here the reason why it will act as an acid is because of the electron deficiency of boron. So if it is reacting with water, then the boric acid can combine with OH minus, because here water will give OH minus, and OH minus is a it has a lone pair of electrons, so it will combine with BOH thrice to form BOH 4 times minus. Okay, so that's how it will be able to release H plus when it is in water. But as such, the acid, right, it is not going to release H plus from its molecule. Okay, so the one that is not a protonic acid is BOH thrice. Whereas if you look at the other acids, right, so this is what POOH thrice means. This is H3PO4 phosphoric acid. It's a protonic acid. It will release H plus ions from the molecule itself. Then SOOH twice means this is H2SO3 sulfurous acid. That is also a protonic acid. SO2OH twice means that is the H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid. That is also protonic acid. So the one that is not a protonic acid is BOH thrice. What do you mean by protonic acid? The acid that will release the H plus ion from the molecule itself. Next, we have a question that has come in the year 2000. Which compound is electron deficit? So if you look at these compounds, right, BeCl2 and BCl3, CCl4, PCl5. So PCl5 is in fact an extra octet molecule. So phosphorus has 5, we are not writing the actual structure of PCl5, but we are just trying to write the Lewis diagram. Okay, so phosphorus has 5 electrons, and all 5 are used for the bonding. So the total effective count of electrons after forming of 5 bonds will be 10. So it's an example of extra octet molecule. CCl4 is exactly a molecule having octet arrangement. Carbon will get finally octet. Whereas BCl3, right, boron, after forming the 3 bonds, it will still be left with only 6 electrons. It will not be able to complete the octet. Okay, and if you look at BeCl2 as a covalent molecule, right, here the beryllium also we will see that will have just 4 electrons. If we consider BeCl2 as a covalent molecule. If we consider BeCl2 as an ionic molecule where beryllium is forming Be2+, then we will not talk about the electron deficiency in the molecule, because it is ionic in terms of nature. Because Be2+ means it is losing. What is the beryllium normal structure? 1s2, 2s2. Okay, so if it is losing the 2 electrons means of the 2s subshell, it will be just having the beryllium 2+ structure will be what? 1s2. So here in case of ionic BeCl2, we will not talk about having electron deficiency. But if we talk about the covalent BeCl2 means that also will have electron deficiency. Okay, but here if you look at between these two, right, we can say that BCl3 will be electron deficit molecule, considering that BeCl2 might have the ionic nature, because BCl3 is a covalent molecule. Next, we have a question that has come in the year 1999. Which of the following does not have electrical conduction? See, diamond, right, will have carbon atoms arranged in the tetrahedral manner, where each carbon is bonded to 4 other carbons, and there will be no free electrons or mobile electrons. So the diamond will not have any mobile electrons. That's the reason why diamond will not be able to conduct current. Whereas if you look at graphite will have hexagonal layer structure, and we will see that the weak bond between one layer and another layer, right, that can be easily broken, thereby giving rise to the so the weak bonds between one layer and another layer. So these bonds between layers, they can be easily broken, thereby giving the mobile electrons or free electrons. That's why graphite can conduct current. Whereas potassium and sodium, they are metals. Metals will have what? Mobile electrons. So the one that will not be able to have electrical conduction is a diamond. Next, we have a question that has come in the year 1999. The type of hybridization of boron in diborane. See, here if you look at boron in BH3, so boron will form 3 bonds, and the hybridization will be sp2 hybridization in BH3. But they are not asking BH3, they are asking diborane. So diborane, so we will see that each of the borons, right, will form sp3 hybridization, where the boron will be bonded to two hydrogens. Each boron is bonded to two hydrogens by a normal covalent bond formed by the sp3 orbitals. Okay, so each boron will be having 4 sp3 orbitals. 2 are used for the normal, this side also 2, this side also 2 normal bonds, and the third and fourth sp3 orbitals, here you can see sp3, sp3, this is also giving an sp3, sp3, will be overlapping with the s orbital of the hydrogen to form what we call as an 3-centered 2 electron bond, the bridge bond, which we can also call as the banana bond. So this will be the arrangement of the diborane. So in diborane, the hybridization of boron will be sp3 hybridization, where all the 4 hybrid orbitals of boron will be participating in the bonding. So 2 sp3 orbitals for every boron, right? If you look at the first boron and second boron, for every boron 2 sp3 orbitals are used for the normal boron hydrogen bonds, and the other 2 sp3 hybrid orbitals are involved in the 3-centered 2 electron bond. Next we have a question, theoretical question that has come in 1999. The percentage of lead in lead pencil. It's actually a misnomer, like the way we use organic chemistry. Lead pencil, right, doesn't actually contain any lead. It contains graphite and clay. Okay, so it does not contain any lead. So the percentage of lead they are asking, right? What will be the percentage of lead? It is going to be 0. Lead pencil doesn't contain any lead. Next we have a question that has come in the year 1996. Boron compounds behave as Lewis acids because of their. So boron, if you look at it, right, so boron, I mean, any compound you take, boron BH3 for example. So the boron, after forming 3 bonds, it will be still electron deficit. It will be having less than octet structure after forming the bond. So this is the reason why the boron will be able to act as a Lewis acid, because what is a Lewis acid? Molecule or entity which can accept lone pair of electrons will be Lewis acid. Here boron is electron deficit, so it can accept lone pair of electrons. That's why it will be able to act as an Lewis acid. So the correct answer for this is what? Option B, which is the electron deficit nature of the boron. So this is about the part 3 video, and we'll see in the next part.